we're here in Sweden, here at Allstars in Stockholm. The internet's going wild. Internet's going, yeah, there's a little bit of it. Internet's going wild about you and Khamzat training together.
Yeah.
How did this come together?
So obviously, you know, my last fight, Brett, I lost to Derek Brunson. You know, it was probably it was a tough defeat to take, because obviously I lost. I wasn't really bothered about the fight before that. I lost to it because I feel like I proved that I'm one of the best middleweights in the world. You know, we had such a close fight. It could have went either way. You know, one takedown changed the fight. But then the last fight, I don't feel like it was me in there. I mean, I've seen a few comments that I looked out of shape, which was quite true. So it was a tough few months. But after the fight, I seen that Khamzat had tweeted me, and Derek, like, he congratulated Derek, and he was like, "Till, do you want to come out here, you know, and train with me, brother? The doors are open." And we spoke a lot on DMs, me and like Khamzat. You know, we obviously everyone's seen the Instagram live where we were talking about fighting, and I just got the feeling that he was like the type of guy like me. I don't feel like there was no, you know, like after what you see, I feel like he was just a guy who trains hard. He's a little bit crazy and stuff like that. So I thought, you know, I feel like this is a guy who I wanted to put myself back in the beginner seat. I'm like, remember when I first walked into Team Carbon and I was a beginner, I wanted to put myself back into that seat. So I wanted to come over and train him. So I obviously spoke to my team back home, you know, obviously my coach Colin. I was like, listen, you know, do you reckon we can set up some training and that? And he was like, yeah, of course, like, you know, get the sparring, get the answer. And the good fact of it was that my one of my companies, my crypto companies, was signing Khamzat. So like, it just made all the sense. So I spoke with his manager, and I spoke with him, and I said, "Is there any chance I can get the invite to come?" They were like, "Of course, Till." So walked through the doors about a week and a half ago, with my tail between my legs, and now I'm just loving every single second of my life right now.
What do you love about it? Like, why is this place good for you?
Because, you know, like when sort of, this is from my opinion, when you're on like a little bit of a downswing, you need motivation and inspiration. And back home, my coach, he is the one guy who's always motivated and inspired me. But as like another fighter, and just watching videos and talking and seeing how Khamzat is, and even his last fight, his post-fight interview, I actually got told he's basing it around one of my post-fight interviews. I just like his whole aura, and I like his for me, more important than anything, it's not his wrestling or his how fit he is, it's his mentality. Like, and now I've come here not as Darren Till, the UFC superstar. I've come here as, in my head, Darren Till, the beginner, who's starting over, Darren Till 2.0. And listen, Brett, I could stop fighting right now, and I feel like, you know, I've achieved a great deal. I don't even feel like I've begun yet. I've had twists and turns and ups and downs, and I'm here for one specific reason, and it's because I know I can be, you know, a champion, a legend. So, you know, this is why me and my team have decided to get out here for a few months and get to work.
I'm gonna ask you a question that I meant actually to let you know that I was gonna bring this up in the interview.
Don't worry.
Making sure that you were okay with it.
Don't worry.
I walked into kind of a private moment with you after your fight against Derek. I don't know if you remember this, but it was at the Apex.
No.
And I went in to use the restroom.
Yeah.
And you know, like usually if we're in a stadium or an arena, you know, you guys have their own locker rooms or whatever, and I was just in the back. And I walked in, and I didn't realize that you were kind of having it seemed like a pretty serious moment. So I went to the restroom, and you guys were the only ones in there though. But I remember you were standing in front of the mirror, like with your hands on your hips. Colin was sitting on the counter, and you were just looking at yourself in the mirror, and you were like, "I'm just so disappointed with myself," you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget that, you know, because you like just walked out of the octagon, like losing a fight. Like, can you just talk about what that feels like to? I mean, we watch a fight and then like we go off, like we turn off our TVs or something.
Yeah.
Like, and why did that fight? Like, why are you always after that with a loss, or was that one like a?
No, you know, when I lost, as I say, the fight before when I lost to Whittaker, in my opinion now, you know, Whittaker and Adesanya are the two best middleweights on earth, and I don't even feel like I gave 50%. I want to be God's honest truth. I'm not trying to disrespect Witter now. I don't feel like I was even giving 50% in that fight. I was making him miss. I was relaxed. I was, you know, knocking him down. If I came in there 100%, Darren Till, I would get Whittaker out there quite quickly. So after that fight, I was like, oh, it's one of them things. I should have pushed the pace a bit more. It's a 5-round fight. You know, maybe in the 5th round, if I'd worked a little bit harder, I'd have won. And then it'd have been a different story. I'd have been fighting for the title. But after that Derek fight, I was looking at myself in the mirror and it wasn't me. It wasn't Darren Till. It wasn't even, I was looking at my shape. I just couldn't identify myself. And that's why it hurt so much. And that's why even after the fight, I just thought this, and I can't even go back home to face like my girlfriend or my daughters. Like, I need to just stay away from the world. And I said to Colin, Colin, do you mind if I stay in Vegas and get some treatment out here and stuff? And he was like, yeah, no problem, son, you know, just keep in touch. So yeah, it was tough to take. It was real tough to take. And I'm not disrespecting Derek in any way, shape or form. You know, blonde Derek Brunson was doing a job, but when I was in there, even with him, you know, I didn't feel myself and I felt sloppy, but he just felt so slow, and even his takedowns and his striking. For me, you know, if this was in the gym, I'd have broke his skull. Like, I know he's going to see this and say, no, you're chatting, but like, under different circumstances, but I just couldn't identify myself in there. But at the same time, maybe like, in my opinion, that night Derek was just a better fighter. I always say this, I never like try and give excuses. But when you say you see me looking in the mirror, it's because I just couldn't identify myself. And you know, as I say, I don't want to disrespect Derek. I still want to give him his props. He beat me fair and square. The better man, the better fighter that night. But you know, it was tough for me to take.
Well, when I hear things like, you know, people said he didn't look like he was in shape, and you were like, no, I wasn't, and I wasn't myself. But you were injured, right? Like why does the injury not make
I just don't like to talk about. I mean, obviously, Brett, we'll talk about it openly now. It's not like I'm saying to you, don't talk. For me, it's very tough to sit here as a man, as the man I believe I am. Like, I've been brought up in a specific certain way. I've been around people. I've been around all my life proper men. I haven't been around like boys. I've been around men that if you see you getting off the line, they'll tell you. And like my coach, so like I'm not a man who wants to sit here and cry about life and whine about how to, you know, like I came here. I wasn't going to come here the first day and get my ass absolutely handed to me by everyone and go, oh, this isn't for me. Do you think I give about taking a punch or getting took down? I could not give a about it. Like, I've had that type of life, and so I don't want to sit here and go, oh yeah, but I couldn't identify myself because I was injured. Listen, I'm sure the world knows why, and you know, I did have problems going into the fight, but as a man, and as Derek the man he is, I don't want to sit here and take a single thing away from his win against me and say, oh, to me, you see me looking in the mirror and I'll say openly, I couldn't identify myself, so anyone can take that as they want it. But, you know, for me to sit here as a man and be like, yeah, Derek beat me because I was injured, I don't feel like a man doing that. So I'm never going to do it. Every fight I've had, and I've won and I've lost, to me, it's always been the better man who's beat me, and I've been the better man who's beat them. You know, I remember when I beat Gaslam, and he was saying like, "Oh, I couldn't identify myself." He said something along them same lines, and I respected that. He didn't start coming out with all these, you know, injuries and, you know, his cat died and shit like that. So, you know.
I've heard you say recently in other interviews that, like, you look back on like the Darren Till that fought in Liverpool and you were undefeated, and like that guy is just like indestructible, you know, and then now you see that in Khamzat and you're like, I want to get back to that. Is it possible to feel indestructible and then lose it and then regain it?
Yeah.
It is possible
100%.
to just go back and be like, no one can touch me. Like nothing bad can happen. Like when you've had bad things happen.
100%.
Yeah.
You can, the body's got endless possibilities. I'm already feeling it now. I'm going to tell you, Brett, I am walking around now with my chin in the air. I've been here 1 week and a half, and I'm walking around with my chin in the air, and I'm feeling like boy again, like, you know, and you can definitely do it. Listen, I'm 29. I'm 29 years of age, you know. I haven't abused my body, you know. I don't go out going on crazy benders every Friday, Saturday. I don't take drugs. Mm-hmm. The worst thing I do is have a cheeseburger. Do you know what I mean?
Or 3 or 4.
So one of the best fighters ever, Khabib, he loves potatoes. He's a big fat guy now, so if he can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, there's another path. It's like a new path for me, and you know, new window, new doors are open, new opportunities like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can definitely do it. You can be indestructible, become like down, and you can get it again.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm 29, I haven't even scratched the surface, I know that. And my coach tells me all the time, Colin, he's always like, Till, we haven't even started yet.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, physically, like you said, you're not even 30 years old yet. I just mean you were, it's almost like a like healthy delusion, you know, where you're like the way you, like, yeah. I mean, I remember even the story that I wrote about you before you fought Tyron, we talked about, like, you make yourself bigger in the cage, you know? And it's just like, it's almost like an intimidation thing.
There's a photo of me and Wonderboy where, like, he's so tricky to figure out his, like, move. And there's a photo there where I'm just doing that to him.
Yeah.
And I'm just basically saying, you've got nowhere to hide or run.
Yeah.
And you can see him, he looks like, with the same weight, but well, I was a little bit heavier because I'm his big, but he looks like the small man, and I'm just standing there like, where are you going? My chin's in the air, and I'm just like...
Just move. Yep.
Sorry about that. I'm just like, where are you going? You know, and I still do that to this day in the gym, you know, I do it, but there's a difference between doing it in the gym and then doing it in a fight. And, you know...
Yeah, and you're gonna get there here. Like you're gonna get that, bring that back here.
Yeah, like as I sat down with my coach back home, and we want to tweak things and stuff like that. Now you see, you know, big Tom back home, and he's main eventing on UFC London, and Grundy's fighting, and there's just little tweaks to be made. Like, you know, if Khamzat's my weight, welterweight, middleweight, I just can identify so much of myself in him, and just like the way he walks on, the way he just says openly, says, I'm here to make money and smash every guy. And he fully believes it. Yeah. He doesn't say it and then you see him like, I don't know about that guy. He fully believes he's going to smash every guy and make money. And that's what you need to be around that. Trust me, because it's infectious, especially to a guy like me who believes that as well. You know, I had that, I was like, I do not give a Francis Ngannou steps in that cage. I am going to beat this guy, and like it's infectious, that type of mentality. So as I say, people are going on, like people say, oh, his wrestling or his striking or his this. No, it's the mentality for me, Brett.
And just a few more. Can we get a reality show with you and Han? I mean, is it like funny to you, like how much people freaking love this?
I don't know. Like, the first day when I was training here, like when we went through that, and then we were doing like this tough strength conditioning, and I wore the wrong top. I had like a stretch top, and he was like, come on, fat boy. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a long few months. Honestly, like, there's just, every day I wake up now and there's a new clip. I forgot that the camera's around. It's not like, sometimes you know when people are playing for the cameras. We're not, we're just like, we're going shopping, we're going for food. Everyone's crying out for a reality TV show, and it's very possible, mate. Like, you know, we're getting along like, you know, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He trains hard, and he genuinely wants to help me as well. Like, you know, he sees him a little bit out of shape, and he's giving me that little kick up the arse. Like, come on, brother, let's go. So yeah, like, I couldn't believe the first day when I got here. Like, the next day when I woke up, every single media, like even people who aren't involved in sports on Twitter and Instagram, just like, Khamzat Till, Khamzat Till. It was like so humbling to be, you know, like to be around it, you know.
So what is your plan now? You gonna stay here train, and then like in terms of accepting a fight, like when can we see you back? Like what are kind of your?
I have a few interests here as well, as I say. Me and my new, you know, my company I own, we've partnered with Khamzat and a few of the fighters here and a few European fighters. We're trying to make a big network out here for ourselves and a big partnership. So we've obviously got that interest, but that's their interest and obviously some of my interest. But I'm just wanting to get back to Darren Till. I know now, like, as you say, we spoke before about Khamzat, and you said, Till, is he special? And yeah, he's special. I know I'm a special individual. I know my fighting IQ, my fighting skills. I know my persona. I know what it takes to be a big star. That's why the champ now in middleweight is talking about me. I've got 2 losses and he's still talking about me. You know, and he's giving me a little bit more, like, come on, Till, I know you've got it. I know me and you are going to make for a great fight. So I just want to get back to identifying myself get fit, get strong, get like I've never been before in my life at 29, like a fully grown man now, and then I'll be ready to just say to the UFC, right, give me this fight. Who is that? Right, there's 4 guys. Okay, give me this guy. He accepts. Let's fight. And you know, hopefully it goes all well for me.
Okay. Last thing, I guess I should ask you about this. Is that could that guy, or how likely is that guy to be Uriah Hall? Like after what you guys went back and forth on, like what's the deal there for Uriah Hall?
I don't know. Like he's just come out of nowhere. He's just like coming for me. Like Uriah, like I don't know. I mean, he's not. I can't even put it into words, but he's not making any sense. He's like saying that I blocked him on Instagram, that I'm running from the fight with him, and he doesn't know if I'm injured or whatever. Like, yeah, Uriah, I was injured. I didn't block you on Instagram. My Instagram got deleted. No, I'm not running from you. When I moved up to middleweight, I personally phoned Dana White and asked him for the hardest fight after the champ at the time, which was Calvin Gastelum. So, no, my friend, I am not running from you.
And are you a little annoyed? You seem a little bit annoyed by him.
I'm honestly, Brett, right? You know I love trash talking and building fights. I'm not annoyed. Well, I am annoyed. I'm baffled by it because I'm like, where's this come from? Like, he's just talking like, it's not making it, like when me and Marvin were scheduled to fight, like he was talking mad crazy, like trash about me, like he's gonna break me, like that. But I enjoyed that because I see Marvin like as a guy who trains hard, he believes in himself, he's emotional, you know, he wants to be the best. He's how can I discredit a guy who's put his whole life into it? I see how hard he trains, like, so for me, that was nice to see. I was like, let's do it. You know, I was just like, yeah, he blocked me on Instagram. I'm like, what the that got to do with anything? Like, blocking you on Instagram? Okay, so I'm scared of you, I'm blocking you on Instagram. I'm like, okay, Uriah, good for you, mate. Like, if we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight. Listen, Brett, I've had me downs and outs, and I'm pretty down right now. I've had losses, but I'm not scared of no one. Yeah. I'm not scared of anyone, Brett. Everyone knows that's my famous saying. Right? I'm certainly not scared of Uriah. Uriah feels a little bit of pressure and he crumbles. You know, I've heard stories. So. You know, I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to make it personal. I'm not scared of Uriah Hall. Yeah. If he's the fight, if Sean Strickland's the fight, if Jackie Manson's the fight, if anyone lower down the rankings is the fight, then that's the fight. I'm not going to sit here and try and negotiate who's the easier fight for me. This is the UFC. There are no easy fights.
Well, I knew that. I knew you were a young fighter. It even kind of, I had forgotten that you're still in your 20s, man. So right. I think it's great to see you out here, and it's funny to see how like funny and entertained everybody are by it. But then there's like that also reality of like what it's doing for you as a fighter. So I'm excited to see like what it does for you and what it does for you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for sitting down with us while we were out here.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.